1024, sitting at 77 degrees. It has gotten cloudy here in downtown Rochester. And I am joined in studio by none other than Woodlawn CEO, Mr. John Alley. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to be back here. It's been a while since I've been in.
I know. We missed you.
You're the only one. So, no, we've been fairly busy at the hospital, contrary to everybody thinks, even though volumes have been down, those who have been coming to the hospital have been really, really sick. And, unlike other businesses where we can say everybody needs to go home because there's no business, we kept kind of almost a full staff this whole time, even though we've experienced about a 70% decline in volume. So it's been some trying times for the past 2 to 3 months. Seen a little bit of it starting to come back now. So, it's just been interesting to watch as we progress through this whole COVID-19. And I think everybody says when we go get back to normal, we are at the new normal. I don't think we're ever going to go back to way things used to be. I think, this is such a devastating virus that we've had right now, and no cure for it yet. They're working on it, no vaccine yet. So it's not over. We're still going to be fighting this, I think, for several more months, maybe even into next year. So it's just been kind of interesting to watch how everything's been changing the way we do things, the way we deliver our services to staff and to patients as they come in. It's been devastating for them. You're sick, you want your loved ones to come with you to the hospital. Unfortunately, we can't let you in. And, that's been some points. We've had a lot of heated discussions with folks. And I just hope they understand, we're doing it not only for their benefit, but for their loved ones who's in the hospital, trying to really protect them. So it's, we're monitoring where we're at. Right now, we've kind of reopened the hospital back up to about a 50% capacity when we're looking at elective surgeries, other outpatient tests and stuff. Going slow. We don't want to just throw the doors open and all of a sudden create a problem for us. I'm hoping as we move into the first week of June, second week of June, we can get back 75% capacity. And as we move through this whole continuum, make sure we've got, a decline or actually zero increase in new cases in the county. I'd love for us to be back to 100% capacity, third week of June, end of June. So keeping our fingers crossed. I think it's going to be interesting. We get through this holiday weekend. The next 10 to 14 days, we're going to be monitoring, what's going to happen. Are we seeing new cases all of a sudden pop up in the county? We've been holding that, steady about 46 for a while. We had one new one over the weekend popped up, so we're at the 47, 48 range. I'm hoping we stay there and just kind of level this out for a while. So, it's we're kind of following the State Board of Health CDC guidelines. We kind of get, the daily briefing from those folks. And they're still fairly restrictive, so we're trying to follow that, because the last thing, again, we want is somebody coming to our facility and we can trace back, they got sick from visiting us. So really wanting to make sure everybody follows the guidelines. And, I know there's been a lot of discussion and argument, however you want to put it, about, do I need to wear a mask? Does it do any good? And it will not prevent you from getting COVID-19. However, it does prevent you from giving it to somebody else. Yeah. And one of the things that we found, a state study came out about 3 weeks ago where they went across the state and brought in healthy individuals, no signs, no symptoms, and tested them for COVID-19. The results of that test is about 30% of the population has it with no signs, no symptoms. So you're contagious and you feel fine. So you're visiting grandma, you're visiting mom and dad, you're visiting your grandkids, and you're spreading the COVID. So that's the reason everybody's still saying, wear a mask. It stops those droplets as we breathe, as we talk, from spreading that disease. So is it a pain in the neck to wear a mask? Absolutely. I have far more respect for our staff who wear these 12 to 16 hours a day. I wear mine as I'm moving around. I'm in my office, I take it off. As I'm moving through the hospital, so I probably got 3 or 4 hours a day I'm actually walking around wearing a mask. And they're uncomfortable. They make your ears sore. They fog up your glasses. They are a pain, but you have to realize that what is the downside? Downside is if you have that disease and don't know it, you're spreading it. So I can't encourage folks enough, please, please, please. Even though you feel fine, you still might be a carrier of it. You're going to what's called shed the virus. So as you talk, as you breathe, as you do your normal things around life without a mask, you're putting this vapor into the air, and it's live virus. So bear with it a little longer, folks. Please wear your mask. If not for, you've already got it, possibly. Again, 1 in 3 people test positive for it with no signs, no symptoms. That's probably the scariest thing about this virus is that you can have it and have no idea you've got it. So that's why we're still recommend, please wear the mask when you're out moving around. Social distance, the 6 feet. And one of the other interesting things, they're now starting to say that 6 feet is probably not enough. We're looking more 10, 12, 14 feet. There was a study that I saw where they actually photographed a sneeze in, ultra slow motion, however you want to call it. 27 feet. There was a spread of droplets with a sneeze. So please wear your mask. It's inconvenient. I absolutely will guarantee you that. And I have, like I say, renewed, I guess, honor for those folks that wear them every day. And, the paper masks aren't as bad. When you start looking at the N95s that we're requiring all of the providers direct patient care with, they're actually coming home with bruised faces because those are so tight, fit to them. They're getting cuts on their noses, bruises on their face. So, a healthcare worker, tell them thank you.
Yeah, I've actually seen videos on Facebook and all sorts of social media where the nurses and doctors go to take off the N95 and you can just see the whole line of where the masks sit the entire time.
And just trying to do that 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It really wears on them. So they're doing a good job. One of the things, we had our board meeting yesterday, and again, it was one of those, not a lot to talk about because we haven't really been doing a whole lot. Very low volumes. So we did kind of talk about, the financials for April, where we're at. And, they were ugly. We tried not to get into them, but unfortunately you have to. So, our gross revenue for the month of April was about $7.8 million. It's about $5 million under budget. So that's fairly devastating. We had our deductions, our write-offs was about $3 million. So it left a net revenue of about $3 million. The big thing, the promising thing, we look other operating revenue, we had a little over $2 million in there. And I can kind of explain what that is here in a little bit. So we had total operating revenue of $5.1 million, operating expenses of $4.6 million. So even though it was a crappy month, when you look at the financials, we had a profit for the month, about $900,000. But when you start peeling that onion back and looking at it, we did receive some of the stimulus money that was coming out from the federal government. For the month of April, we got about $1.9 million. Now, part of that is loans. Everybody thinks it's free money. A lot of what we got, they're going to deduct back from us as we move forward. So, the federal government says, we know you're not seeing anybody right now, so they prepaid us, for lack of a better term. So they give us this, big bunch of cash, but starting in August, then when we bill for like a Medicare patient, they're going to say, okay, we've already paid you for this in April. So we're going to get no money starting in until they start taking this money back. There is a small movement, some of the healthcare organizations are talking to Congress saying, instead of making that a loan, can you make that a grant? It's moving slowly. I'm very optimistic that maybe it could be a grant, which would really be nice, but I'm not holding my breath on that. So again, if we look at that, we have about $2 million we put in there from payroll help, the PPP program. We got some money for that. And then some of the prepayment of some of our future billings. So we probably still had about a $900,000 loss for the month if you take out, we call it the funny money, the kind of the freebies that came in. So, it could have been a lot worse. The staff was very receptive. Did we have mass layoffs? No. We did, though, reduce people's hours. We tried to reduce everybody across the board, reduced for about 4 weeks. 5% in their hours, and then if you were a salaried individual, everybody took a 2% pay cut, just to kind of help us until we got some of that PPP money in. As soon as we got that money, we brought everybody back to their full pay, full hours. Even though we didn't have a lot for them to do, it was kind of nice. It was kind of catch up on the honey-do list that everybody has. Hospital had the same thing, so we had some folks come in and they said, "Can I go outside and pick up sticks? Work, get the building looking, the grounds looking nicer." So it was really nice to come in, and they did what needed to be done. We kind of got a lot of those small things that you don't have time to do when you're really busy inside the building and outside. So everything kind of tidied up. So we're back to full force right now. Everybody's working their full hours, assigned hours. Again, not real busy. We're hoping, as I said, that moves forward as we start opening up the doors a little bit, go from that 50% to a 75, then 75 to 100. So we're hoping by July we're back full force, 100% going. but are closely monitoring, again, new cases in the county. It's not over yet. We've kind of saw our peak. Other areas are still in their peak. They're not done yet. So, as you travel around the state, just be aware we might be fine here, but you might be going to what we refer to as a hot spot. They're just now in their peak. So, again, just be conscious where you're going. Be careful. I know you've heard it 18 million times, but, wash your hands. It's one of the biggest things you can do because, again, this virus is a viral droplet, so it goes to your airway, but it can also get through your eyes. It goes through a mucous membrane. So, if you get the virus on your hand, you say, I'm not touching my nose, but you scratch your eye, you could be infecting yourself. So, again, hand sanitation, hand sanitizer, wash your hands. Just, be conscious of your surroundings. We don't want people to get sick. This has just been, devastating local economy, devastating for, the national economy. So we got to get back to normal, whatever that new normal is going to be. And, we want to make sure you do it in a healthy manner. So, just be aware. It's not over yet. Hang in there. The end is coming one way or another. But we're hoping to see, by the next year, at least a somewhat workable vaccine for this. But like any virus, whatever we create today to as a virus, deterrent, it's going to mutate and it's going to change. It's much like the flu vaccine. Every year, they try to guess what that new flu is going to be. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. As a virus, this is no different. So we will be seeing the same thing as we move forward. Each year, a different type of vaccine will have to be developed to what is the new variant for this virus. So new normal, I think we're in it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. And I do have a question.
Sure.
I know leading up to this, when you were in last, we were kind of talking about you guys had some new improvements coming. Did COVID stop those improvements?
They didn't stop them 100%, but boy, did they slow them down. One of the biggest things we had just starting to launch was the Da Vinci robot series. So we basically, the elective surgeries for that have been, stopped up to this point. We did do some emergency surgeries with it, and it went very, very well. And, the patients, when you talk to them post-surgical, they said, well, I've talked to my friends who had the conventional surgery, and, they were, bedridden 3, 4, 5 days. Most of these people walked out of the hospital that same day or the next morning with, very little after effects, very little pain and discomfort. So it is a outstanding program. Again, we're back about 50 to 60% on electives. In fact, we're doing a Da Vinci surgery today. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of nice to see that going back into place. A lot of the other things that we're moving forward with that were put on hold, starting to bring those back slowly again because, we've got, when you look at the financials, they look good, but again, you got to realize that money's here now, it's going to be gone tomorrow. So we've got to build up our reserves so when they start taking that money back from these loans, we can pay it back at that later date when we start looking at August, September, October, November, December. Through the rest of the year, be paying that money back. So even though you look at the balance sheet and it looks really nice right now, we're still being very cautious, knowing that, some of that money is just temporary. We'll pay it back as we start turning and our business opens up again. So, that was probably the biggest thing was the robot. That really worked well. Next month, we're going to take to the board some new scopes that we use in the surgical department. Again, that volume is picking back up again. So the scopes we have are good, but they're getting toward the end of life. And the one thing, I like to do is let's not overextend them. If they're at the end of the manufacturer's life, then they need to be replaced. And the new technology out there now, from the cameras that are in these scopes are much better than what we had in the current ones. So that will all improve that experience, not only for the patient, but for your physician. They're going to be able to see much better what they're looking. So that's coming too. So exciting things are coming slowly. We're getting back into the groove.
And I know one of the big projects we talked about wasn't really a time sensitive, but more of a temperature sensitive, which was replacing the cooling units.
Yes, that is done, and it has been nice these past few days when we had the high temperatures. We got that done when it was still cool outside, made that conversion, took the old cooling tower out, put the new one in, and everybody is very comfortable right now. So we got that done. I think we had about 2 weeks window where we didn't need it from the point we got it into. We started seeing this warm weather. So, the guys did a great job. We decided to do that internally rather than, pay somebody else to do it because, again, we had some excess capacity with everything else being down. outstanding job. It was probably went in quicker by us doing it than hiring somebody else to do it. And, you take pride in your employees. I think they probably did a better job than if we'd hired somebody else. So it went very well. Cooling tower has got the building at a nice temperature, so we're ready for the summer heat.
Awesome. So lots of things still working there at Woodlawn.
Lots of things still working. It was, again, I guess the only bright side of the downturn was getting that honeydew list done. A lot of little paint up, fix up that really you can't do when you have a house full of patients or visitors, because you just don't want to be shutting a hallway down to paint a wall and stuff when folks are moving through. So I was able to get a lot of that done during kind of the slowdown. Ready now to kind of ramp back up. Again, slowly. I don't want to, just throw the doors open and all of a sudden we have a problem. So it's been interesting. We've been, I think one of the other things that this has done is brought the local hospitals together. We had the poor Logansport with, everything that went on down there. They were kind of reaching out to us, to Winnemac and to Dukes and Peru and said, can you give us help? And even though we're competitors, we all chipped in and said, what do you need? And we were helping Logansport get through this. So, it just shows you can be competitors, but you still, in time of a crisis, we all come together, help each other, and got through it. So it was kind of nice to see us all work together. Now, it'd be nice if we could stay this way for a while, but I think we'll go back to, putting the billboards in each other's counties, trying to steal their patients, and that's part of the game, part of the fun that we have. But during the crisis, all came together, and it worked out very, very well for that community in Logansport. They knew we had their back if they needed anything.
Yeah, and that's a great example of, I know it's the saying and everybody says it a lot, but that is a perfect example of we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. Doesn't make who you are, where you are, competitors or not. You have to come together, fight this beast, knowing that it's not over yet. We're going to win eventually. Be patient, and we'll get there. We'll get on that other side very quickly.
All right. Well, Mr. Alley, thank you very much for stopping by. Look forward to talking to you next month with even more.
Hopefully by next month, have a little more information of what we're doing out there, kind of get out of hibernation and back into full swing.
All right. Look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.